Good morning, everybody. Another week closer, I guess. We're quickly approaching. I think we're less than 2 weeks from our first closed scrimmage, so we're getting some outside competition a little bit in sight. Had a team retreat this weekend and kind of got to take a step back and set some goals and talk about some standards and expectations and those types of things for the season. In a pretty good spot. Had a couple nagging injuries that we need to get everybody back and at full strength. That would certainly help. We're in a good spot right now. Plenty to work on. I think these next 2 weeks will be really big for us, especially after you hear some of the things that they want to accomplish and why some of them came here. So, again, it's just a good reminder for them and then for coaches to holding them to a standard, and pushing them maybe even a little bit harder. So, like I said, I think the next week or so 2 weeks, I guess, will be a really big 2 weeks before we have our closed scrimmage, and then we're going to learn a lot more about us after that. Still great group, great kids. Excited for the season. It'll be here before we know it.
So for the first time in your tenure, you're going to play an exhibition game. What goes into that decision, right before you take on Purdue-Fort Wayne on November 3rd?
That we lost a closed scrimmage late and didn't have many options. That's what went into that one. Really not much more than that, to be honest. I've preferred to play scrimmages because I think you may get a little bit more out of those than exhibitions. But either way, that's okay. There's value to exhibitions and putting on the uniform and playing in front of your crowd and in your home venue. So we'll get plenty out of that one as well, and get to play Fairmont down the road. So that's good for both programs. And so we'll be excited for that.
I know you can't talk a lot about it, but what goes into picking an opponent for a close scrimmage? What do you look to get out of it? And I guess last year's didn't go the way you wanted it to, I guess, in terms of cooperation. What are all the things you look into that?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want to get as much out of it. I would love to play the best competition in those and get punched and challenged and show our kids where we need to get to. But the value is you can play more than 4 quarters. You can work on situations. You can do a lot of different things. Last year we had one. We used to get to play very long, and we ended up playing our practice guys in the middle of it just to get something out of it. We want great competition. Who that is, we don't really care, honestly. It just ends up being a scheduling thing. Some of them you'll play like home and home. Other times you want to go on the road to play some to go through that process, meet on a neutral floor at times just to get different setups. In the ideal world, I would play one of each probably, like one at home, one on the road, or neutral just to take your team again out of their environment to see how they respond.
Do you talk ahead to the coach, say, okay, I need to work on inbounds, I need to work on this, and then you kind of exchange information ahead of time?
Yeah, you're pretty open. You're a little more open, obviously, when you're playing those. Like, hey, here's what we're going to run. Here's what we have in. Again, depending on the timing. If it's early, like October, this time of year, you don't have as much in, so you might need them to dial back in just a few certain areas. But each team wants to get better at what they do, also. So, you're still going to do what you do, but you do communicate with the coaches ahead of time and kind of talk it through, which obviously you wouldn't normally do.
From a media standpoint, we appreciate the exhibition game. Gives us a chance to shoot all the players and everything.
I'm sure you do, and I don't know that I love that either, and we'll see what we put out there, and it may be a very watered down version of what we're going to run, but there's value to it. It helps you guys and a lot of different people, helps us for sure in a different way, so it'll be great.
In terms of scheduling the secret scrimmages, is it sort of like trying to schedule a regular season game? Like, does everyone call Gino, or is it difficult scheduling in terms of finding someone, or
not usually? And typically those are a little more regional. Like we're not getting on planes normally to go play scrimmages. Those are more bus trips. So you're talking normally some more of the regional, type teams that you don't play in the regular season or haven't played, or scheduling hasn't worked out to play. Maybe some that you would like to play, but just it hasn't worked out. So, but usually, those are bus trips to meet somewhere neutral or go on the road and play. Yeah, we're not usually getting on planes for those.
Typically, you have a relationship with the coach when you pick them?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, no, sometimes it's style. Sometimes it's, we're going to play somebody in the Big 12 that plays a certain way, and so we want to have a few days to prepare in October for something we may see later. So it's something we can pull back on later.
I would think the fact that you have 2 top 25 finishes probably helps you in scheduling other teams close would want to play your style, right? To be helpful to them. I mean, you both got to get something out of it.
Yeah, no, well, that's the absolute key is you both want to get something out of it. Yes, if you play against us, you know what you're probably going to play against. And so there are some programs that probably don't want to do that early and this early, and then others that value that and know they may see something, some press or man or zone, and they like that or what we do offensively. And then, yeah, really same thing for us. Like I said, we're trying to find – and whether that's scrimmages or non-conference, that's what we're trying to do. You're just trying to find games, teams that play different styles that will help you. So, when we put in the game plan for these early games, like hopefully we draw on that and pull from it later because, like, oh, yeah, remember when we played Kent State and we did this? Like, okay, that's the game plan for whomever we're going to play later in the year. So if you play everybody that's the same, then you don't have a whole lot of different game plans to pull from.
Are you to the point in the preseason now where you start adjusting, tweaking something you might do that they're like, hey, this isn't working great, that may not be us, or we want to try this because it looks like we might be better at something else?
Yeah, no, we just met for about an hour and had a lot of those conversations on, it's still probably too early to make any major adjustments, but yes, I think in the back of my mind and what I'm asking my staff to continue to think about is what if this doesn't work how we've, either done it in the past or what the expectation was. We need to have a backup plan. So I think we have a lot of contingency plans right now. I told the team, up to date, it's been fairly equal from playing time and minutes, and they probably would have no idea who I'm planning on starting at this point because we just keep mixing the teams, but that's about to change, and we don't have time now to continue to do it that way. Like the ones that are going to get more minutes and be in the rotation are probably going to get more reps. They need to get more reps together in practice. And so that's going to change. But what that looks like will dictate some of the things that you just asked as well. So how much do we need to change will be based on what it looks like once we get the full group, more minutes.
Sorry, talk about the value of these secret scrimmages, the preseason scrimmages and things like that. Right now, college baseball teams are playing fall baseball games. I know the calendars are different, but would something like that, I guess, in the summer on an annual basis also be beneficial for teams?
Oh, yes and no. Our season is so long already as it is, and if you start doing it in our sport in particular, you need to be in elite shape. You would worry about injuries, those types of things if you're not. So, no, I don't think we probably need it all the way through the summer. They need probably a little bit time off. If we could play maybe one more in the fall, that would probably be pretty nice. But again, you need to ramp up to get to that point, and especially the way we play, it just takes a little bit of time to get there.
You've talked in the past about players having bank accounts. I know Jordan would be one of those players that has an account. Who are some of the other players that have built up some credit, I guess, for playing time?
Yeah, I just talked about the bank account the other day a little bit. Any returner has their bank account is higher just because we've been through it together. And so, that's what we've talked about with our group as well is some of these returners, I've been in the fire. I know how they respond when adversity hits. I know what that looks like. Some of it's good, some of it's maybe not so good. Returner, or for the new kids, we're trying to go through that. They all really like each other off the court. They truly get along. But we don't know what's going to happen when we get punched a little bit in the face, and then what is that going to look like collectively? And so we're working through that. So everybody's bank account, it grows every day, every time you're on time, every time you do the right thing, you get to your treatments, you're making good grades, you're busting your butt in practice, your bank account grows. And then if you're not doing those things, then your bank account, obviously we're taking some withdrawals out of that thing. So it's a fluctuating system. But yeah, Jordan, obviously, because we've been together the longest, that bank account's significant. But Shaw produced that for us here in double figures and did a lot of really, really good things. So bank account grows. Jordan Thomas' bank account has grown from where she was a year ago, of course. But plenty to do for all of them and plenty of standards to hold these guys to. So we'll keep trying to grow it.
What about these portal kids? Does their bank account from other places factor in? Do you look at what they did in the Big 12 or whatever conference they were playing in? Does that factor?
Yes. They wouldn't come in with zero, maybe, like a certain freshman or somebody like that's really low. So, yeah, if you've produced at this level, or even collegiately at any level, then your bank account has grown a little bit. But I still need to see it, and so it can't be as high as others, but they could probably make it up pretty quick, I guess.
Coach, first few years, obviously, you guys get to the NCAAs, get to the second round both times. You have a Mount Rushmore type player graduate. So going into year 3, what kind of statement would it make if there's no drop-off? Hannah's? Or
I don't know. I don't know if that there really would. I mean, I think we're trying to be a sustained success type of program. Players come and go all the time out of programs. Over my 21 years, I've always lost best players, leading scorers, leading rebounders, and you find ways to, replace them. Obviously won't be easy, and we had a really good group a year ago, and obviously a really, really good talent and special talent in JJ. So we're just going to do it differently. The big picture will look the same, but obviously inside it's going to look a little different, and we'll have to be a little more creative. And, where I think it changes a little bit is when you got to the fourth quarter, we knew we had a dynamic scorer who could go get baskets when you needed them, and JJ could kind of single-handedly at times kind of get you over that hump, and that obviously we don't have that, and we've had that luxury here the last couple of years, and at this level that's a great luxury to have. And so that's going to change, and we're going to continue to work on that and figure out who that is for this season.
Have you talked to JJ after her surgery this past weekend?
We did, yeah. We've checked in with JJ and the family, and I think surgery was a success, and she's recovering and managing the pain, and I think they expect a full recovery, and she should be fine here sooner rather than later.
Change, a little bit of the change in the way your offense may look with a little bit more post play. Are you figuring out what that looks like? Because that's not just dumping the ball inside to somebody on the blocks. Do you have people that you think are good there? Do you have people that you think that are good, like horns, high sets, or things like that? Starting to find that out.
Yeah, I think we're working through that. There's just going to be more versatility to how we score in those positions. So it may not just be, we're not just going to throw it and have back to basket and just dominate with big old 6'5" size or 6'6" size. It's not going to be that, but we can operate from 15 feet. We can operate out to the three, depending on who it is. Some can put it on the floor. Some can operate with their back to the basket. So there's just some, versatility, I guess, to that group that we just maybe didn't quite have as much in the past. So yeah, still a work in progress, but we're working on it every day.
You're now a couple years into payroll management. Where are you at with that? What are you learning from that? And has your thoughts changed from when it started to where you're at right now?
Yeah, I think those thoughts change daily, weekly, as we get new information and learn new things. This has been a new world of recruiting with payroll, GM, whatever terms, that we want to use. And so, just trying to navigate this from still being relational and not just the straight transformational and transactional and all the terms that we're using, now is just, what is it? And what do we have and where do we fall in line with this? And, we have one committed kid in the 26 class. And so we're still trying to work with that, but then you got to save for the portal a little bit because I think staying old still significant. So it's a daily conversation.
Well, how much of that is occupying your block of time now? I mean, obviously what's on the court is the most important thing, but that's got to be drawing from your time doing that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we talk about that more than we ever had because there's just all these added layers to recruiting that we just didn't have, in the past. So, I don't know what my time day-to-day additional is. It's a lot. Now, we're getting into a little bit more of the basketball now, but for months, like my September was very much about, visits and recruiting and portal, or not portals, but NIL and those types of things, so it ebbs and flows a little bit. As we get into October and into the season, it will go a little bit down. And then of course you can imagine portal time, it'll dominate it 90% of the time once we get to that. So yeah, ebbs and flows, but as we all know, recruiting never stops. So that's not something that you just turn on and you turn off, but it increases at times and decreases at others.
Is there any kind of role yet for Maddie, or is she still very much a freshman working her way through things?
Yeah, both. Yeah, no, she's a freshman, and she has those moments, which she's going to have, and that's not a knock on Maddie. That's an expectation for most freshmen, and she has good moments too, though, and so I've used the peaks and valleys, and then at some point you want it to flatline and then just kind of stay up there. And so, yeah, she's making progress, taking steps. She's on an island because we only have one a little bit, so that, she's having to kind of go through it on her own, and, she's hard on herself, but that can be a good thing as well, and she wants to perform and play well. So still excited for her. She's doing a really, really good job, and getting lots of reps right now because we've got a couple kids that haven't practiced, so she's getting a ton of reps and a ton of opportunity.
Any similarities with her situation with Jordan Thomas last year? Because different positions, obviously, but.
Yeah, I mean,
Big
different
freshman.
positions, different players,
Yeah.
but same. Yeah, like there's going to be some opportunity in front of them. Can they take advantage of it? You know, like Jordan did. Does Maddie do that? But yeah, she legit is getting a ton of reps right now, which is a great thing for her to get to work through it as early as she has in her career.
You said a couple weeks ago it was going to be kind of an adjustment with only 11 to work with. It sounds like maybe you've had a little less than that for some. So how challenging has that been, and what are some of the ways you kind of tried to work around that over this last year?
Not, I mean, because we have the male practice team, it's not quite as challenging, you know. But yeah, if you get under 10, now you can't play 5-on-5 against each other, so you do have to play against, you know, the male practice team. But that's okay. We have a great group of guys that practice against us, and we scrimmaged against them the other day. You know, so yeah, like no, it's not that much of an adjustment, to be honest. You know, but I would like to get all 11 on the floor to give me a few more options.
Over the next couple weeks, you know, various preseason polls or rankings stuff are going to come out. But we're seeing, like, especially in college football this year, where the preseason polls were just way off base. Do preseason polls, do they matter anymore? Do they have any validity anymore?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they ever matter or have validity. Every coach is going to use it to, you know, in whatever way we want. We'll twist it. I think it's harder probably to determine those because of all the transfers and the roster changeover from year to year. So I think it's harder to predict what's going to happen, right? I was a Big 12 football that Arizona State a year ago was picked last and finished first, you know. So, like, I wouldn't put a ton of weight into it. I think a lot of times they go off the previous year a little bit too, so you kind of build it based on, you know, how did everybody finish last year? Who might they have, you know, returning or lost? And then you kind of go from there. So, like, again, I think every coach is going to twist it and turn it however the heck that they want and allow the media to use it as they seem fit.
You mentioned use the term nagging. Any concern those can stretch to the season, or you think it's just a matter of rust and getting
Yeah, no, we don't have any expectation that they will linger into the season, and they should be kind of day-to-day type, maybe a week, but not any longer than that.
One more on the secret scrimmage. Is the goal to get power conference teams? Is that what you want to try to do?
Yeah, usually. I mean, at least one for sure. I mean, if you can get two, that's great, but one for sure works. And then if you can get one quality mid-major, then you're in a good spot.
Is there anything you can report on potential roster ads?
No, not at this time.
Jordan Thomas, year 2, expectations, role increase, her game improvement. What do you see?
Yeah, needs to, has to, better. You know, I told her and say this all the time. The summer after you play significant minutes is the biggest summer that you have. So, yeah, she looks better, moves a little bit better. I think is in a good mindset right now. Role does need to expand. She's been through it. She understands it now. So yeah, excited to see the year that she has. She, I mean, is definitely going to be our best back-to-basket paint dominant player. So excited to kind of see her operate in there.
Any more comfort on Kaya's replacement, or is that still a question?
Yes, I mean that's still a work in progress. I mean, lots of people. We may have one that has a stranglehold on it, but not completely ready to go there yet. So still waiting on some others, you know, and we can do it different ways. We have a lot of options there. That's the good news. It's just which way do we want to go? Do we want to go a little more post-like and, you know, better rebounder, bigger body, maybe not quite as explosive, of course, as Kaya, which nobody is, you know, or do we want more Kaya-like, which was basically a guard playing that spot, and we have a couple options if we want to go that way. So game to game, I don't know, may dictate that. Maybe over the next couple weeks, somebody may completely put the stranglehold on it and just own it. But that's what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking for over the next few weeks is who's gonna take some of this and who's ready to compete at the level that we think it takes. And I don't think we're quite there yet. And so that's why I say I think this week and next week, like we got some steps that we would like to see some of these kids take to just kind of own these positions.
So 2 or 3 players for one?
Yeah, I mean, for one starting spot. But, yeah, we can, again, 2 or 3 could potentially man that position just depending on foul trouble or how we want to play.
One more on Jordan Thomas. As she increases her skill levels and she kind of changes the way you play from the 5 position, whereas, you know, Kylie was a perimeter, launched the threes, and I don't think Jordan's really that kind of player. So does it give you different looks, different options than what you had from the fives?
Yeah, I mean, it
the
does,
first
but
few games?
we would play when Jordan came in the game a year ago. We might change the way we played just a little bit because of that. So, we really don't try to change the way we play based on the skill set of our players. Like, I don't change the offense. We now change tweaks within it, but we don't just completely go away from something because a year ago it was Kylie or JT comes in. But, if you're setting a ball screen, Kylie wanted to pick and pop. JT wanted to pick and roll, and so you're just throwing in little nuances within what you run to allow players to play to their strength. And so it's just built that way that allows JT to play to her strength.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.